Christmas is almost here, Vale. We must get back to the North Pole.
Welcome to Outlaw Woodworking. You know, recently I made what I thought, and I still think, is a really nice little rocking horse. I called it the perfect rocking horse. And I made these for some kids down at our local church. And if you like it, I can share this CNC file with you. But I just do it for fun. But I thought, you know, I made quite a few of these for the kids, and I thought it would be pretty fun to make a sleigh. Basically, have all your reindeer, and then have a sleigh back behind here. So today I'm going to walk you through how to make the perfect sleigh. And you know, they never come out perfect the first time, but I'll walk you through my procedure, how to get it. It usually takes me 2 or 3 times to get to something that's, you know, nice like this. So I'm sure it's going to be the same thing with the Santa sleigh. So I'll walk you through step by step how I get to that perfect sleigh. And yeah, let's get started. See if we can't make a. I think what we're gonna try to do. I don't know how many reindeer Santa has, but I know there's probably 4 or 5. So what we're gonna try to do is have like 4 or 5 of these rocking horses, and then we'll have the sleigh back behind it. Anyway, yeah, it should be fun. Let's get started, and yeah. Okay, the first thing I do is basically go and type in Santa's sleigh image DXF, or actually you could even type in black and white, because basically the way I'm gonna get it, black and white. I want a black and white drawing because it's easier for my computer when I download it into my CNC program to be able to trace this or manipulate it or anything like that. So right in here, you can see you got a bunch of black and white Santa sleigh, and there's a lot of different designs here. And so you basically just go in here and choose your design, and then you can either buy it, or what I usually do is, of course I shouldn't say that, but what I usually do is, let's say I find a sleigh. Let's find one that looks kind of like I want. All right, let's take this one for instance right here. I would just, on my Mac, you could either right click and just save image as, and then as a JPEG, and just save it to your desktop, and then bring it over into your CNC program, and I'll show you how to trace it. Okay. We're gonna go ahead. I have a drawing that I like. That's not it actually, but I have another black and white drawing, and I'm going to show you what it takes to convert that to a file that you can cut on your CNC. Let's get over to the Vectric program, and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, let's see if we can get through this pretty quick. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check our material settings. And 28 by 24 by 7 3/4 inch thick. We're going to start from the bottom, standard. This is a really easy thing to make. And one of the things I really enjoy doing is making toys for kids. Maybe it's just because I'm a big kid. So right here, we're going to import bitmap. We're going to go down here to the SAM data. And that's one of the ones that now this isn't the one I'm going to end up using, but I'm going to show you how easy this is. So the first thing we're going to do, we already have our bitmap in there. We're going to go over here to this little bird. See it right there? Trace bitmap, fit vectors to selected bitmap. We're going to click on that. Now because we imported it in black and white, this makes it really easy. We just highlight black and white up here. We'll click preview, and you can see it gives as long as your drawing is pretty decent, it went ahead and traced that really easy. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit apply and close. Okay, so now we could highlight that picture and delete it. So now we are left with this sleigh. Now, we've got some extra stuff down here. We're going to go ahead and actually we'll have to go ahead and highlight that, and we're going to ungroup objects back to original layers. Now, if we click off that and we highlight this down here, we can delete it. So now we have a pretty good drawing right there. And actually, this is not bad. It's actually, I don't know if I'll make this one, but I'm going to save it because it does have kind of a cool look to it. So right off the bat, we're going to make it bigger because we know that we want this thing to be as big as this material in order to get it to be pretty close to the same side. And we'll go over here and we'll center the object. So actually that's about as big as we can get. We could have our material smaller though by basically we could just lower this down here and then we'll center that side to side. So right there, it's in the material. And you could almost get another one up there. But what I would do is I would actually do a right and a left and have it on the same material. So right there, there's our sleigh. We brought that in from an image, and we brought it in from an image, we converted it into a bitmap, and now we can take it right over to our toolpath, and let's see how it looks. So you can see that's the outside perimeter. Now let's go ahead. We're going to do a profile toolpath. Now I'm going to use an up-down 2102 compression bit by Whiteside, and I'll show you a picture of it right here. When I'm cutting 3/4 inch material, I like to do like 2 or even 3 passes. So we'll go ahead and do 3. And we'll go ahead and set the passes and hit OK. So right there you can see we've got 3 passes. Now we're going to go outside the line, so we change that machine vectors to outside the line. We're not going to do tabs because I'm going to cut right through this material. I'm going to use my vacuum board. Now we need 2 sides to this. So you need a left and a right. So we're going to call this the right. So I'm going to write down here, it's where it says profile. I'm going to put profile right and go ahead and calculate. And it'll say we're cutting through, and we'll go ahead and preview. And you can see it cut right through there. That's fine. Okay, we're going to close that. We're going to go back to the 2D view, and we're going to disconnect that one. So now what we need to do is we need to cut these inside ones out. And I'm going to do the same toolpath, profile toolpath, but I'm going to go on the inside of these lines. So we're going to go inside. We're going to do the same 3 passes because we're going to be cutting all the way through it. We'll hit OK. And right here we'll do profile right. We'll just put inside, and that'll tell me those are the inside. Right there, it tells you cutting through, and preview. Okay, now you can double click on the stuff that that you cut out, so you can get a kind of a look at it. So there's what it looks like, and actually I kind of like it. Actually, it's not too bad. Okay, so now we have basically the right side. But there's another thing we need to do to this right side. So, and we're going to have to go back to the drawing because we're going to have to create a little bit of a drawing on this. So what I like to do is, because we're going to create a 3-dimensional sled, we need to glue it together. So what I do, I'm going to have a seat back here. So I'm going to create a seat. It kind of leans down. Maybe it goes down to there, and it goes across to here. And we'll have it go up. Can't go too far up because this is pretty narrow up there, but let's just go to there. Okay, so, and then I have that piece highlighted right there. So we're going to go ahead to offset, and I'm going to offset both directions so it stays in the middle. And I'm going to go 0.25, and that should give me a half inch around that right there. And I'll hit close, and then we'll delete that inner circle, and that's what we're left with. Now we're going to close this gap right here. Oops, that didn't do very good, did it? So we are going to close this there, then there. Okay. And then one thing we're going to have to do before we cut this is to check, make sure these are closed. And actually, I think that's gonna work out pretty good. Okay. All right, so you can see that's closed. Now what we need to do is, a lot of times we need to highlight this, right click, join vectors with a line. And no, we didn't want to do that. Delete, no, don't delete that. Undo close vector, okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to highlight that one right there, hold the shift key down, highlight another one, and then join them. Okay, join with a line. And then we'll hold the shift key down again, select the next one, join with a line. And then we're going to go over here, we're going to hold the shift key down, select that last one, and join with a line. Now if I was to select it, it should not need to be joined. See, the joined is not highlighted. So now this whole thing is joined. Now, we'll go ahead and create this next toolpath real quick, and then I'll show you how easy this is going to be. So we're going to highlight that. Now, we're not cutting through on this. We're going to come up here to Pocket Toolpath. We're only going to cut a ½ inch deep. We're going to use the same bit. We'll just do one pass. And we'll just, where it says pocket, we're going to hit right. So all these toolpaths are right side toolpaths. So if you preview all toolpaths, you'll see that it basically cuts out that trough and it cuts that out. Now, we've got all these labeled right. So now we need two sides to this. So we're going to go up here to the 2D view. And I'm going to do something a little tricky here. So I'm going to escape out of there. I'm going to highlight everything. I'm going to come over here to Mirror Objects. And I'm going to flip it to the right. Now you can see I've basically made one that's completely out of the same one, same size, but it's opposite. So what I'm going to do, now I've already done the toolpath for this one. So what we'll do is we'll click out of there, we'll highlight this whole thing, and we're going to move it out of the way. Oops. So we'll move it up here. And then we're going to highlight this one. And we're going to come over here, and we're going to center it on the material. And actually, we're going to move it down a little bit. Let's make sure we got everything picked. And we'll move it down. And we'll center it side to side. Okay, now we go over and do the same exact thing. So we're creating, now we're going to call this the left side. So we'll go ahead and do this outside profile path first, just like we did right there. We're going to hit profile. We're going to edit the passes to 3. Hit OK. And down here where it says, oh, we're going to go outside the line. Down here, we're going to put left. And calculate. Got through, yes. Now we're going to turn off all these toolpaths and reset the preview. And go back to our 2D view. Now we're going to turn those off. Okay. Next thing we're doing is these inside ones. So we're going to highlight these. And we're going to go back to the toolpath. We're basically doing the same exact thing we did before. The only difference is we're doing a left side. So we'll hit OK. Right down here, we're going to put left inside. And one thing before I hit calculate, I got to go up here and put inside. And then calculate. And boom. Okay. Now we're going to go back to the 2D view. We got one more thing to do. This pocketing toolpath. Go over here, close. It's already highlighted. Hit pocketing toolpath, half inch. One pass is fine. And we'll just leave it pocket, but we're going to type in left and then calculate. So now you can see, now we'll preview all. Well, let's preview the left side, preview visible. So there's basically your left side. You can click all these off. Now it's basically just a duplicate of the previous one we did. The only difference is it's the left side. Okay, so now you have all your toolpaths. You have your right and left toolpath, and we're going to basically save this, and we're going to go over to the CNC. Now, let me show you the one I created. Okay, so this one actually, this drawing is actually pretty good, and I'm going to save it. So let's go ahead. I'm going to save changes, and we're going to write sleigh number 2. And that'll be something that we go ahead and try to do later on. So now if you go over here, I got sleigh number 2, and then I've got Santa sleigh right here. So we're going to click on Santa sleigh, and I'll show you what I created. So I basically, this is my sleigh that I created. It's got a little seat in here, and I made these curves. I tried to make them big enough to where my router could just run around in here and be able to make something nice. So this is the one we're going to make, and I basically have the same toolpath over here. I've got left side, left side, left side, right side, right side, right side. So we're going to, and that should say profile right there. So we're going to go over to the machine, and we're going to go ahead and cut these out. Now let's check the material. I believe, so yeah, 25 by 19 is what I need to make these. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to do a production run. Now, I only need one for my little sleigh thing that I'm making, but I need a few more to give to kids down at the local church. So I'm going to do a production run of, let's say we'll do 5 of these sleds, just so we have some to give away for Christmas. And yeah, I'll show you how easy it is. Let's get started. The first thing I do is I cut some 25 by 19 square pieces. This way I can easily bring them into my vacuum table, and basically on my vacuum table I've got pins set up so that I can easily set these pieces in the same spot every time. So right here I'm cutting 25 by 19, and I'm going to cut as many pieces as I need for a little production run. So once I get these cut, we'll go straight over to the machine and start cutting them out. First thing I do is check my vacuum table, make sure I'm vacuuming in the spot, and I go ahead and start the process. And basically I need to home the machine, which is what I did right there. And then I go and I do the XYZ on my touch plate and get that thing right on the corner of this project. So basically I'm running a hurricane vacuum system, and I can basically direct the vacuum to the corner of this CNC table, and it goes so fast. I'm basically able to cut out all of these. So right there I always cut the pocketing toolpath first before I start cutting through the project. That way if it does move, it won't move from the pocket. And right there it's cutting out the first side of our little sleigh. And you can see right there, it pops out real easy. I take this I basically take that material off, vacuum up the top, and then I put a new piece on there, turn the vacuum back on, and then start again. And everything stays. The only thing I shut off and on is the vacuum system, basically. Right there, it cuts out the right side pocket first, and then it'll reset and it'll cut out the little slot down below, the inside cut, and then it'll cut the outside cut of the sleigh. And basically, I can just keep doing that all day long. I can just basically move the machine out of the way, turn off the vacuum, and pull these out, and I can basically pull those out. Once I cut out a whole bunch of pieces, it was time to cut the inside seat part. And basically I'm just using some 1/2 inch material, same kind of material as the outside. And I basically rip them all down the same width. And then I need 3 pieces per sleigh, a back, a bottom, and a front. And I basically just cut all these pieces the same size. And then once I have all the pieces cut the right size, and I got enough pieces to start putting some together, before I start putting any together, I check them all, make sure the sizes are right, and then I will, and then the front and the back piece, I router a little 1/4 round with my Jesum router right there. I just router these 2 top pieces, and then once you get all the pieces kind of ready to go, you can go through and router your sleighs. And basically the design of this sleigh, I kind of made it where my router could go into all the little spots. And that just made it a little easier to be able to run a production run, because you could basically router all these pieces pretty quick. And right here you can see I'm taking an air gun and cleaning out the little pocket, and then I basically just glue all these pieces together, and they're a pretty tight fit and with a little glue. And then the front piece, where it has a 45-degree angle, I go ahead and shoot a couple pins in it, and then that enables me to kind of line it up really good. And I kind of put it on the floor because it's hard to like push things together on a plastic table. And basically that's the procedure. You just go through and glue all these things together, and yeah, make all the kids happy, and it's a lot of fun. And you can see here's number 2. And there you go, some easy to make sleighs from start to finish. And you can kind of see how easy they are. And once you glue them together, they're actually pretty solid. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, like the video, and Merry Christmas. And I will see you on the next one. Later.
There he goes, it's a working man. He's trying to make a living any way he can. And he'll break his back for $1 or $2. Oh, there ain't no shame in what he do.